Every day you open up Instagram and your feed is filled with pictures, reels of Porsches, of yachts, of private jets, of dreamlike vacations. You see, the truth is that your parents, your friends, your teachers, they don't have a clue about how money works. And that is why they have so little of it. Growing up in the low middle class in a small town, I witnessed my parents struggle. Every evening at the dinner table, they would complain about the price of basic necessities, like the price of a lettuce. We'd rarely go on vacation, and even when we did, it wasn't exactly what you'd consider a vacation. So as a kid, as a teen, it built up the desire inside of me to truly be free, to experience abundance. I always felt limited, like something was holding me back, and I just wanted so much more. I knew that life wasn't just about working 5 days a week for a boss who doesn't care about you, only to pay taxes and to make enough money to keep living but not to actually enjoy life. So I knew if I wanted to make this happen, to show to my parents it was truly possible to live a life of true freedom, of true abundance, a life worth living, then I needed to make a lot more money. But from afar, I could see these busy executives, these CEOs, and they were making 6 figures a year for some of them. Everybody looked up to those people, thought they were extremely successful. But behind the scenes, everything wasn't so bright. These people might have a nice car, a nice suit, they might have a nice reputation, but they work 80 to 90 hours per week all of their lives. They have no respite, they don't get to spend time with their friends, with their family, they have no hobbies, and guess what? They also experience the highest rate of divorce. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what else will. So looking at that, I knew that wasn't the path. So I came to the following realization: I needed to carve my own path, because no one was gonna do it for me. So I figured, if I wanted a different outcome than 99% of people, obviously I couldn't listen to most people's advice and end up exactly where I wanted to be. And that's why I decided against going for the traditional route, going to university, getting in debt, and then getting a job, getting a mortgage, and that's all that there is to life. I knew I needed to start my own business. And that is exactly why my goal with this video is to share with you 6 money secrets that will make you a multi-millionaire in your 20s. The first thing you need to understand, if you truly want to make a lot of money, you want to build a profitable business, is that it's not about you, it's about what the customers want. I learned from many successful people. I followed their courses, read their books, and some of them with a double-digit, even a triple-digit net worth. So when it comes to business, I think it's safe to say these people, they know what they're talking about, and every single one of them, without exception, never made a single dime, as long as they were trying to come up with ideas of what they thought people wanted. As human beings, we are self-centered. We're literally made to be this way. But in business, believe me, this will be the cause of your downfall. In business, you can't be selfish. You have to give to others. No one is just gonna pay you because you want to make money. You need to provide a service, a product, anything which is worth more than the money that people are willing to pay for it. And that is exactly why oftentimes Asian businesses fail, because people think, oh, I'm gonna start, let's say, a cookie selling business. Because a lot of the time people just think, oh, I'm gonna start selling my grandmother's cookie recipe, or oh, I'm gonna open up a yoga studio in this town. But they didn't do any market research beforehand. Maybe people are not even gonna buy your cookies because they go to Starbucks instead. Maybe in that town, in that area, no one really cares about your yoga studio. How are you gonna differentiate yourself from the other businesses in your market? But a lot of people unfortunately fall for the trap. They think, oh, because I love it, it won't feel like work. And while that might be true, believe me, when you don't get results from what you do, no matter how passionate you are about it, you will end up hating it. Oftentimes, we are passionate about the things we are really good at. And a lot of people misunderstand the motivation cycle. They think they need to be motivated to get started, when in reality, it's the fact of getting results that makes you motivated. So the more results you get, the more motivated you are to keep going. Because tell me this, if you went to the gym because you wanted to build a fit physique, you wanted to become more muscular, you go to the gym for 1 year straight, you do everything right, you do exactly what your coach tells you to do, you eat exactly what you've gotta eat, you follow your diet plan to the T, and then it's a year later, you look in the mirror, you look exactly the same as when you weren't lifting at all. Are you gonna keep doing it? No. Most likely, you will be very pissed off at your coach, fire them immediately, because clearly they've been misleading you all along, and chances are you will hate exercising. Why? Because you didn't get the outcome that you wanted. So remember this key rule in business. You need to bring value to others. It's not about you. Forget about yourself. Ask people what they want and give it to them. If you can successfully do that, you will make millions of dollars. Believe me, money will never ever be a concern for you. And the way that you can bring value to others is by solving their problems. And the more painful the problems that you solve for people, the more money you'll get paid in exchange, because you bring more value. Now, something else you need to understand, if you want to make millions in your 20s, is that if you haven't pissed off at least one person by noon, you're probably not making any money. So what do I mean by that exactly? A lot of people are afraid of receiving hate, of criticism. They won't start a business. They won't start a YouTube channel. They won't go to the gym because they are afraid of what other people, whether it be people in their close circle, their friends, their family, family, or even strangers are gonna think of them. When I was a bit younger, around high school time, deep down I knew what I wanted to do with my life, but I wasn't bold enough to pursue that path, to go after my dreams, because the truth is I was afraid of what others would think of me. But then as I tried to fit in and to be like everyone else, some people still didn't like me, a lot of people still made fun of me, bullied me, and that is when I had my big breakthrough moment. I realized no matter what I was choosing to do, some people would always hate me, criticize me, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I shouldn't do this, and instead, oh, I should do this. So that's exactly when something just switched in me, and it finally gave me permission to go after my dreams, to work as hard as it takes, to make all the sacrifices, to do exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And I'll be honest with you, every time I tried something new, whether it be going to the gym, weighing my food, whether it be starting a business, learning a new language, literally anything I did in my life, there was always at least one person to criticize me, to tell me I shouldn't do it, to tell me it would never work, or to make fun of me in some way. But do you want to know what's the funny part? All of these people that told me that, they never actually achieved anything. They were too busy trying to make other people just let go of their dreams because they weren't bold enough to chase their own dreams. That's the truth. When someone tells you, oh, you can't do it, it doesn't mean anything. You can do it. Who are they to decide? It is simply a reflection of what they think for themselves. It's easier to go tell someone, you can't achieve it, you'll never make it, as opposed to actually doing the work to obtain what you want in life. Some people just aren't bold enough to go after what they want. And that is fine, but these people, they should leave the high achievers alone. Think about your favorite movie right now. It might be considered a masterpiece by most people, but even movies like that, some people will still leave a 1-star review, some people will still hate it. They'll say everything about it was bad. The cast, the plot, everything. So you can take a look at the most beautiful works of art on the whole planet, yet there is always gonna be one guy, one girl to criticize it, to hate it. So do what you wanna do. You can't please everyone. That is an impossible task. If you make it your life's mission, believe me, you will be miserable. Now in business, you don't have to get everyone to like what you have to offer. Not everyone is gonna like your product or your service. I mean, sometimes I go on a hotel website, I look at the reviews, some people love it, some people hate it, and it's a 5-star hotel. So who's right, who's wrong? No one. It's simply that every person had a different experience. Maybe the person who left a 1-star review, they showed up at the hotel, they spoke to the receptionist, and for some reason the receptionist was in a bad mood today, and that is why they left a 1-star review. It's all a matter of perspective. But in business, the goal is simply to have more people like what you have to offer, what you do, as opposed to people who don't. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, to start showing your products, your services to the world, to the market, just because a couple people won't like it. At the end of the day, life is too short to not make all of your dreams come true. For me personally, I knew that life was too short to spend my whole life sleeping in a basement infested with rats, driving cars I hated, not having a life, being miserable. I wanted to achieve big things, so I knew, okay, it would take work, but so what? If I do nothing, time is gonna pass anyway, and at the end of my life, I would just regret not having done anything. The small pain of discipline, of putting the work every day, of sacrificing for your dreams, for your goals, it is nothing in comparison to the pain of regret, of knowing you could have done so much more, but you never did, for the simple reason that you weren't bold enough to do so, because the clock is ticking. Every second that you waste not working on your goals is a second that is forever lost. Every minute that you spend without starting your business, without making some serious cash, is money that you're losing, time that you're losing, and you will never get it back. So get started right now. Do something right now to change your life. You will only thank yourself for it. Now the next money secret I would like to share with you is that branding is everything. How come some people pay $1,000 for a shirt, for a phone, while for other brands they wouldn't pay a tenth of that? Branding is the reason why some people buy a car worth $400,000. Branding is the reason why some people buy iPhones for $1,000. Branding is everything in business. I mean, honestly, it shocks me, but lots of broke people, they buy the latest iPhone, which costs at least $1,000, and they don't have that much money. So instead, it's money that they could use to feed their families. That is how powerful branding is, and every big business knows it, believe me. Like, I never personally understood how people look at celebrities. I've met some celebrities myself, and it never felt any different from just speaking to a regular person. It's just that people put these celebrities on a pedestal because they have the fame, because they have the wealth, because they are recognized in the world. But really, they're just normal human beings. Yet, branding is the same reason why Kylie Jenner became a billionaire according to Forbes at only 21 years old. How many people managed to achieve that? Not that many. Whenever you see an ad for a perfume, it's always a guy or a girl, they wear the perfume, and all of a sudden, everyone else is attracted to them. It makes them irresistible. Who wouldn't want to be irresistible? They're not selling you the ingredients list. They're not selling you vanilla extract, ginger. No one cares about that. They're selling you an outcome. And whenever you go in the store, you buy the perfume. You might not realize it consciously, but you're not buying the perfume itself. You are buying other people being attracted to you, or at least the perception that the perfume will make you more attractive. Good marketing sells an outcome, a dream, a result, not raw materials. If it's a car, they're not not selling you the materials they used to make the car. They're selling you being able to explore the world without any limits, being able to travel, to provide for your family. Or if it's an ad for an expensive car, they're selling you prestige, status, luxury, comfort, elegance, but they never sell you the car itself. People buy based on feelings, not on facts. If I wanted to go from point A to point B, I could just get a Toyota, I could get a Fiat Mini. But why do I prefer a Rolls-Royce, a Land Rover? Because of the comfort, the prestige, the excellence, everything around it. Or whenever you see a celebrity wearing a Dolce & Gabbana dress, the client who buys it wants to associate wealth, fame, power, luxury, elegance with themselves. Now, if you truly want to become very wealthy, you need to understand this one thing. As Warren Buffett said, it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you get in. A lot of people think it's all about hard work. But let me tell you one thing, billionaires, millionaires, they don't work harder than you do. They simply have more leverage. They have employees, they leverage systems, automations, processes, and they have capital to leverage as well. It's infinitely more difficult to go from $0 to $1 million than it is to go from $1 million to $10 million, because now you've got capital to leverage. You can hire people, you can delegate, and most people, it's fair to say, they work hard, extremely hard in fact, all of their lives. Yet, do they end up multi-millionaires? No, they never even get close to having $500,000 in their bank account to use as they see fit. With a high-paying career, if you get paid 6 figures a year, you are in the top 1%, so let alone making 7 figures a year. While you can make money with every business, whether it be a physical business or an online business, some businesses are much easier to succeed with for beginners compared to others. Some businesses, they won't require that much money to get started and to keep running the business every month, and on top of that, they can make you a lot of money. We're talking 10k per month all the way up to $100,000 per month. Now, I can't really go too in depth in this video, otherwise it would be 5 hours long, but I've recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together we take a look at the pros, at the cons, that way you can figure out which one is the best to start in your situation. If you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description below. Now, something you really need to understand if you truly want to make millions in your 20s is that as you scale your business, you don't have to be afraid of losing out on profit margins. With some businesses, like if you start a service-based online business, at first your profit margins will be extremely high. It can be 99% sometimes, and then as you hire people, your profit margins will decrease a bit because you need to pay your employees. But the people who are so afraid to lose out on profit margins when they're trying to scale a business, they don't understand the science of scale, of growing a business. Just answer this simple question: would you rather have 100% of $100,000 or 10% of $1 billion? In terms of a percentage, if you get 10% of $1 billion, you get less. It's like getting a smaller piece of the pie, but because the pie itself is much bigger, you still get a bigger piece anyway than getting a whole pie if it's a smaller one. So please do yourself a favor and do not stay stuck in the small entrepreneur mindset of thinking that you need to figure everything out on your own or do everything all by yourself. Empires aren't built with just one single man or one single woman. It takes an entire team. There's a reason why major corporations all over the world have dozens of thousands of employees. And speaking about employees, you need to get the right people on board, which is exactly the next lesson I want to share with you. Like I said, you can only do so much by yourself. You only have 24 hours in a day and you cannot spend all of them working. And even every hour that you spend working is not equal in terms of quality, because later in the day, you will chances are be a lot more exhausted than when you first start working. Your first couple hours of work will be the most focused, the most intense, and it's normal, you're human. But that is why as you scale up your business, you need to get the right people on board. At some point, if you want to go to the next level, you want to go from $100,000 a month to $1 million a month and even beyond, it's not about doing more all by yourself. If you try to do this, you will only exhaust yourself, and believe me, you will end up nowhere. Instead, it is about hiring the right talents. And how do you do this? Well, to attract the best talents, you need to offer the best rewards. Because think about this, the hardest working, the most talented people, they want the best outcomes just like everyone else. So not only should you incentivize people by offering unlimited possibilities, unlimited payouts, and you've got to understand, people love working for a common mission, a common goal, something which is bigger than themselves. Because at some point, when you make enough money to have everything that you want, to live a very comfortable life, it's not about the money anymore. You need another reason to work. If you look at billionaires, guys like Bill Gates, why do they keep pushing? Guys like Elon Musk, they have so much money, why don't they stop working? It's because, like I said, at some point, it's no longer about the money. It's about the goal, the vision, the mission. Now, you don't have to be a big corporation or to make millions of dollars every single year to get the right people on board, to hire the right talents. To give you an example, the way that we help people to start a service-based online business at Consulting Fastlane is by leveraging experienced contractors. That way, you get paid by the customer, the business owner, or even the individual in certain cases, and only then do you pay the contractor? So you never run the risk of hiring someone, spending thousands of dollars on paychecks, and then at the end of the day, not even being able to break even. Now with that said, if you apply these 6 money secrets and you understand them fully, you will make millions of dollars in your 20s. I have no doubt. Now what are you waiting for? It's time to get back to work.